even though it hurts so much for you to get up. You insist on standing. What do you think about while singing the national anthem and looking at the flag with your hand over your heart? What are you thinking about, Dad?
Proud of it.
Mighty proud of the flag. Mighty proud of the people who have served. Mighty proud of the people who have served over the years.
Didn't think guys would give it up.
What's that flag stand for to you?
Freedom.
Freedom. We're pretty fortunate to have the freedom that we have in this country.
Exactly right.
The conflict in Vietnam had become a war that no one wanted. It was a time when the young had no future, and the present was in doubt. Maggie O'Reilly, the daughter of wealthy Chicago socialites, had adopted her parents' disdain for the war. Clayton Wesley Riggs, a farm boy from Hope, Indiana, came from a long line of Marines and was expected and wanted to carry on the tradition. In spite of these differences, Clayton and Maggie began a friendship at the well house at Indiana University. That friendship would change both of their lives forever, as well as others. Early 1967, Christmas morning at Con Thien, North Vietnam, over 10,000 miles away from Hope, Indiana.
Am I alive? I must be. I can't see. I can't move. I can't do anything. Do you have my arms, my legs? Maggie. Where's Maggie? What is it? What happened? How long have I been out? What am I feeling? Oh, pain. I have to move. I have to get out of here, wherever this is.
Clayton Riggs was buried inside a mass of humanity. Heavy, lifeless pieces that just hours ago were his fellow Marines, but now dead. He was suffocating, as if the death around him was sucking life from his every breath. As he poked his head free of the stifling mass, he was a lone rose come to life in a parched desert.
I gotta go. I can't die here, not here. I won't die here, far from my family and Hope and Maggie and Thor. I don't understand. Hear Maggie's voice in your last letter.
So this letter is about you, Clayton. The man that I love with all my heart. The man that I wait for.
I have so much to live for. I'm only 19. Oh my God, the smell of death in my squad. My God, I need you. How could this be? How could I be the only one alive? Is there a reason? Help me!
Clayton tried to look around in the darkness of early morning and the jungle. He was soaked in misery and dripping in devastation and began to quietly sob. Suddenly, ignited by a strange presence, his body quivered as the cold barrel of a gun pressed hard against his head. Clayton knew at that very moment that his life was ending. He hoped for a spot in heaven, while knowing he would personally never be able to let Maggie know of his love for her. Just before this mission, he expressed his love for her in a letter. Sensing that it could be his final one, he had given it to Modo, his fellow Marine, who would hopefully deliver it.
There'll be no war in heaven, hallelujah, praise the Lord. No bombs will cause destruction, no guns or weapons drawn. There'll be no war in heaven. In heaven, there'll be no war. In heaven, no tears will fall. In heaven, no pain or fear. Angels will carry you there. There'll be no tears in heaven. No eye will overflow. You know earth has no sorrow that heaven can't control. There'll be no tears in heaven. In heaven, there'll be no war. In heaven, no tears will fall. In heaven, no pain or fear. Angels will carry you there.
Of Clayton's family, we would like to thank you for being here today. A day none of us wanted, but a day we must have. It's a difficult day, a day weighing on all of us. When moving here with my family, I heard that hope was a special place. And when I look out at this sanctuary that our Moravian forefathers built years ago and see all of you, some of you even standing, I'm reminded of that fact. Many of Clayton's classmates are here, representing the Hauser class of '66, the last to go through the old Hope School. And several of them got together with Clayton's best friend Avery and created this amazing likeness of the well house at IU, where I understand a wonderful friendship developed between Clayton and Maggie. You see, this is how hope responds in these moments. Clayton would often say, Reverend Kufal, that's just one more example of John 13:34, his favorite verse. Love one another just as much as I love you. We are here to honor and to celebrate the life of this young man, Clayton Wesley Riggs, who gave the ultimate sacrifice for the freedoms that we enjoy. In searching for words, my brothers and sisters, I've struggled mightily. I see and feel the community's pain. Homer and Lucy are feeling so much pain. I know of no other way to turn these feelings over to God. Let me read a passage from a book that we've all called upon many times in our lives. It's a scripture you've heard me read before. 2 Corinthians 1, verses 3 and 4. All praise to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. He is the source of every mercy and the God who comforts us. He comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others. And when others are troubled, we will be able to give them the same comfort God has given us. At this time, we're going to hear from Avery, one of Clayton's best friends.
Thank you, Reverend Kufal. I know Clayton was never really much of a talker. I know I could talk forever. However, I promise I'm going to try to keep this short, because I know that's how Clayton would have wanted it. Clayton and I became the best of friends. It was 5th grade. We had Miss McKinney as our teacher, and she was inspiring. She really stretched our thinking. Well, when our summer vacation came, she wanted us to do something constructive with it. So me and Clayton thought that we would build a treehouse. So we went out into the woods and we found 4 great trees, really close to each other. And he started building low, and I wondered why that was when I thought a treehouse should be way up high. But he explained that it was going to have 3 levels. And in time it did. It was cool. I remember spending a lot of nights out there, exploring the woods and the creek. What you may not have known about Clayton was that he was one of the best pig callers. He was. I can still hear him in my mind, echoing, saying, "Sweet!" And all these pigs would just come running. And he had some creative names for him, too. Let's see, there was Pudgy Porky, Puddinhead Porker, Petunia Porklet. We'd have our battles about John Deere Green and International Red. He loved that old putt-putt sound of that 630, but he liked the additional power of the new 3020s. You know, we'd always find time to shoot hoops at Bernie's barn. We'd want to help put Hope back on the map with the Hauser Jets like the 45 Red Devils did. Mr. Riggs, he always called you Mr. Fixer, because you could fix anything. I know that he loved spending time with you on that 59 Chevy Apache. When you bored the engine out to make it the fastest truck on the road, you know, he thought you were the coolest dad. Amazingly, he never got a speeding ticket. I know that as a Marine, he always followed orders. And Miss Riggs could cook anything in the kitchen. Our favorite being that fried chicken and biscuits and gravy for breakfast. You know, he gave you credit for introducing him to stories in the Bible. I remember he especially liked the one about David and Goliath. And he knew that he needed the same God that David did in his life. Look, I know where Clayton is today. That the Goliath of death that we all must face, it's been conquered. It's been defeated. Clayton was a good shot with his .22, his 12 gauge, and even his bow and arrow. But he never cared about killing anything, and I'd always ask him, say, "Clayton, why do you want to be a Marine?" Then he'd go on with his tangent. He'd talk about this country and our freedom and keeping the tradition of serving and his family. Lastly, Clayton took all those college prep courses to help be the first Riggs to get a college education. Mr. and Miss Riggs, even though he knew that in some way you wanted him to continue farming, he knew that you felt proud of him for following his call to be a teacher here. For some reason, he ended up at IU and I ended up at Purdue. And yeah, I'd give him a hard time about wearing his IU red on that yucky green John Deere tractor. Clayton was shy around girls, but at IU, he met this one girl in the big city of Chicago. You know, Maggie, you somehow got through to him. I mean, he even lets you call him Clay, which he never lets anyone does. And he talked to me a lot about you before heading to Vietnam, and he asked me to help with a song for you. Well, we almost had it finished, but his good dog Bob got startled at something. We figured that if he was concerned, then we should be too. But I know that he would want me to at least show you what we did get done. And I'm thinking if you came all the way from Chicago to this little town of Hope, you must have liked him a lot, because I know he really liked you a lot. Anyways, this song is called Maggie, My Bestest Friend. Here we go. I'm sitting here at old Rick's farm with a buddy by our race cars, trying to write a song on this night for a girl brighter than stars. Oh, Maggie, Maggie O'Reilly, I'm sure that I met you at the magical well house at good old IU. My bestest friend, my bestest friend. Where would I be without you, my bestest friend? I was just one of those IU freshmen thinking, what am I doing here? I decided to take a little country walk just to get my head clear. I ended up out the well house, autumn leaves falling on the ground. That's where I found you, Maggie O'Reilly, drawing me of all guys around. My bestest friend, my bestest friend. Where would I be without you, my bestest friend? You with that strawberry blonde hair, shining in the sun, looking so fair. That magnetic smile that just drew me in. My bestest friend, my bestest friend. Where would I be without you, my bestest friend? Maggie, all you need to know is how much I care for you, and I need to tell you. Maggie, I really wish we would have finished that song that night. That's where we ended. Maggie, we're both going to miss him so much. I want you to know that I don't mind being the second best friend.
Avery, we would like to thank you for sharing. Clayton was very fortunate to obviously have two very special friends. Now I want you to visualize with me that we are standing on a shore, watching a ship about to depart on a long journey. And on that boat, among others, is Clayton Wesley Riggs. We are standing together, waving as Clayton departs on a long journey, a journey where we may not be seeing him again for some time. I want you to watch with me as Clayton sails away. As you watch and wave, he's getting smaller and smaller. It's a beautiful day as the ship sails off into the horizon. At first it becomes a small block, dark and unclear. And then it turns into a dot, and then it's but a speck, and before much longer, it's gone. But there is another shore, a distant shore in the next life. And there another group of people are standing and waiting, knowing that Clayton and the others are on their way. They know that he lives, that he is not in that casket, just like his body is not in the casket that we will soon be placing in the ground today. And his gravesite is fittingly close to Don Alvis, just above the rock garden along the creek, where Clayton would play and dream as a child, and where he would meditate before leaving for Vietnam. As they wait on that other shore, suddenly someone exclaims, "There it is!" And as they all look, they see but a speck, and then it turns into a small dot, and then it becomes a block, and before they know it, the ship arrives with Clayton and the others. On that glorious shore, my brothers and sisters, stands Uncle Ben, Grandma and Grandpa Riggs, and the many others that have gone on before us. They stand waiting for that first glimpse of another loved one who gave the ultimate sacrifice for us and our country. They wave while welcoming Clayton home. And Clayton waves back, awaiting their embracing, their love. And then he feels a love that we talked about in Sunday school and in this very sanctuary many times. God's love, an everlasting love. Clayton is all right. And somehow, he wants all of us to be all right. In hope, we lean upon one another, and we lean upon God. I started with a passage from the Bible, and now I wish to end with one. Psalm 91, verse 4. And you shall find safety beneath his wings. Amen. After the graveside service, all are invited to a dinner which our ladies have prepared.
The family ties that bind us at the heart of everyone. Oh, the family ties that bind us so strong. Oh, we thank the Lord for good things and for giving us life. And the family ties that bind us and have right down the line. Oh, the family has been tested, been through many a wind and storm, but the family ties that bind us hold strong. And the loved ones who have passed on to that home up in the sky, and will one day sing with them again, Amazing Grace so fine. Amazing grace, how sweet those sound, and will one day be with them again, forever by and by. Oh, the family ties that bind us at the heart of everyone. Oh, the family ties that bind us so strong. Oh, we thank the Lord for good things and for giving us life. And the family ties that bind us and have right down the line.
In the next few months, we must test the enemy's intentions in case this is indeed his last big gasp before negotiations. But it is increasingly clear to this report that the only rational way out then will be to negotiate, not as victims, but as an honorable people who lived up to their pledge to defend democracy and did the best they could. This is Walter Cronkite. Good night.
Beverly, I'm sure you've heard the news today.
Well, I was watching until the baby had a poop explosion. Then I had to clean him up as well as myself. And to think, Ben wants to have a fourth child. I'm sure glad he took all of them out for a while today. But I know you're not here to talk about babies. Let's hear it.
Oh, it's just Mr. Cronkite's words. I just can't get them out of my head. The Vietnamese have taken South Vietnam. And those falls, the images of the fall of Saigon. Oh, it's so sad. And those last supporters of the regime being rescued by the Marine helicopters. It was just so dramatic.
It's over and you're doing great. You've got to move on. You can't keep scratching that wound open in your head. You've got to turn it off.
I know, you're right, and I am over it. I am.
And Ben and I are going to make sure you stay over it. You've got your dream job at the Chicago Tribune, your dream apartment, your dream guy in Richard, and in a few months you'll have your dream marriage. Mom and Dad are so glad you finally moved on with your life.
You're right, you're right. Everything is falling into place in my life. I finally think I have put that terrible chapter behind me. Finally.
Have you gotten rid of that box of your and Clay's mementos? You really should, Maggie.
I know, and I will. I just need a little more time. I still have that napkin from our first date at the Commons at the Union Building. And that straw we shared our first malt at Mama Bear's. And that rose, I still have that pressed in my Bible. Well, Clay gave that to me to apologize for joining the Marines.
Oh, Maggie.
Beverly, Richard is good and kind, and he's even accompanying me tonight to the Tribune and the fundraiser for the Chicago Tribune, and it's just the way he talks to me. He's so condescending to me, and it just grates on my nerves. Clayton would never say things to me like, my dearest love and my sweetheart.
There you go again, thinking too much of the past and of Clayton. You've got to let it go, Maggie.
Life goes on, that's what they say. Just raise your head, 'cause life goes on. When things go bad, sometimes they do. When you're looking down all you see is gloom, and life goes on. Your soul is weaved with many threads. Sometimes you get to just one thread, and life goes on. Yeah, life goes on. That's what they say. Just raise your head, 'cause life goes on. When pressure knocks up on your heart, when it cuts so deep you can hardly breathe, yeah, life goes on. When evil stares you in the eye, the devil's hook is in your side, yeah, life goes on. Yeah, life goes on. That's what they say. Just raise your head, 'cause life goes on. Just put your trust somewhere above, and let your mind fly like a dove. Yeah, life goes on. I hope you have a lot of faith. I hope you pray every day, 'cause life goes on.
I wonder what's on Maggie's mind now.
That has spun me yet again into that eternal space where minds and souls meet across an ancient plateau. My spiritual senses experienced images I knew were real. I can guess what you're thinking. Here I am writing another rambling letter to Big Sis, who already understands me thoroughly, when I should be writing to poor mother about why I have abandoned my last chance of happiness by not marrying Richard. Here I am going off again about Clay, the one that got away, the one who first and forever shared my heart from the moment we met at the well house.
Oh, Maggie, when are you gonna let him go?
The Tribune sent me to D.C. for the dedication of the wall, the new Vietnam Memorial. It's a vast 500-foot-long V-shaped wall of glossy black granite with over 58,000 names of Americans lost in the war engraved in stone. I just can't rid my mind of all the families hurt forever, those vets that returned with physical wounds as well as PTSD.
Neither can I.
There I was, like everyone else, searching for that one name that would certainly be there. That one name that drew you in and scared you at the same time. Of course he was there. Clayton Wesley Riggs. I read his name like Braille with my touch, eyes closed, as if I were reaching out to him. This was not a monument of cold marble in front of me. It was the warm man lost, but somehow found in this new public place. This long black scroll hardened into history. It was chilling and unforgettable. Then, in my early morning dream, I returned to the wall and those names again. But just as I touched its surface, I knew his name was not there with a certainty as sure as any waking state. As I came out of the dream, my bones told me, even if he is among the missing in action, assumed dead, no word for years, all hope abandoned by family and friends, that this friend, his bestest friend ever, he called me, is not totally convinced of his death. We all know grandmother had the second sight, and we all used to joke about how that was the only inheritance I would ever get from her. Yet, when I have a vision like this, I feel it's true. My love has kept him alive, and he still comes to me in this field. Though I cannot touch his hand, he smiles at me. We have no need for words. Can you imagine, Beverly, me with no need for words?
Never.
That is a miracle in its own right.
Agreed.
Recently, I came upon my drafts of the 12 letters, my Christmas gift to Clayton while he was on the front line, and I realized I started writing him 15 years ago tomorrow, the day of the wall's dedication. How can it be 1982? Where does the time go?
I was just asking myself that question.
Anyway, just as surely as Clayton's name was not there in my dream, I know that those 12 letters I sent were delivered to him. I could almost feel him opening one each day, peeling away the veils that covered my feelings, until the last letter on Christmas Eve gave them all away. Feelings I imagined might or might not be a secret to him. Someday, I will go back to the well house, standing on the edge of the small patch of woods that will never be replaced with limestone and cement. I need to get dressed for the dedication, and yes, I will wear my red dress, but without a black veil or black anything. I will not concede to this tradition of basking your limbs in the color of death. I prefer the color of living blood, even if it is spilt over the length of 500 feet and farther into the river water of that jungle where he was lost. I will write about the event and the black granite wall that does and does not hold my Clayton's name.
You will do it well, Maggie. I hope this gives you the closure you need to finally move on.
I woke up, drenched to the bone. I came face to face with the twilight zone in my dream. In my dream, I was there all alone, castles of stone, fear riding high in the shadows unknown. In my dream, in my dream, in my dreams there's fantasies, imagination runs wild. Shadows forming on the ground, illusions all around. In my dreams, as flying above, I saw mansions of clouds. The angels sang out in that heavenly choir. In my dream, in my dream, I tried to reach out to touch angel hands, but all that I got was a handful of sand. In my dream, in my dream.
few stones in my boots over the years, Cooter.
Well, I think you've been walking on a few stones while carrying a boulder. You needed to share your load, brother. I never realized you had such a hard life in Pennsylvania.
Remember that statue over there by the wall, the one with the infantry grunts? Faces, man. How did that capture their faces? We were just kids. I know you told me that I need to give it away like you did. I just can't. I remember that last big day that David lost Riggs and Sid and all the others. Lieutenant Vince never should have given
Moto! I spent exactly 391 days in that country, and I decided I wasn't spending another. I left it there, good buddy, there. And you need to leave it here at the wall today.
That kid, Riggsy, he gave me that letter. Yeah, give me that letter. I tried.
Don't tell me, Moto, that you actually still have that letter. Man, you need to let it go. I thought you were pulling one over on me when you said you were still packing these memories. Moto, you have got to take that letter over there to the wall and leave it beneath Riggsy's name. There's a bunch of stuff lying along there. It seems to be the right thing to do with it. I'll go with you. Come on.
It's copping out, Cooter. I don't know why I did it, but I gave that little turd my word. They went and died on me without even the right address on the thing. I've tried. She dropped out of IU.
Good buddy, it's going to be harder than wrestling a Brahma bull to find somebody who doesn't live where she did. On top of it all, my man, it's been 15 years in case you ain't paying attention.
Where was this Maggie from again, anyway? You paid more attention to those things than I did.
I do remember she was from Chicago, but that's a big place as I understand. If it's anything like Dallas, you ain't got enough life left to find her. Moto, you don't even know what she looks like. It's been a long day, buddy. I need to get some shut-eye before heading home. Just don't let me sleep long.
Yeah, man.
Gonna bury my sorrows and walk away. Leave it there to another day. Gonna wipe my tears, stand up and face the sunshine. Gonna look to my fate to get me through this haze. Pray and hope that I find my way to a peaceful place where the air consumes my soul.
Moto, my main man, this really is like old times, other than my body is telling me we are much older. It's a wonder the big city police didn't kick us out of here, don't you think? Where in the heck did he go? Sally Joe's gonna kill me. I better go and call her. Moto, you... I want you to know that coming here to the wall with you has meant everything to me. As you now know, thanks for listening, I never had family. You and the guys, even that Riggs kid, are it. Nothing has ever seemed to work when I'm involved, whether it be women, jobs, or... A few years ago, an old Marine from the Korean War tried to help when I got in trouble. He was the first to say Semper Fi to me. It made me feel good, even though I didn't tell him. It meant a lot to me. It took me back. Cooter, I don't feel like I've been faithful to no one except you guys and Nam. I don't know much about God or stuff. When my mom was sober, she would make us go to church. For some reason, I remember something about penance, something about making up for all the bad stuff you did. Last night it hit me. Do something good, Moto, before you die. While you were sleeping, I sat there thinking about all we've been through, how we covered for one another. Then I realized I've got one more patrol I gotta lead. That same old Korean War Marine, he said his word was his bond. When all is said and done, all we have left is our word. That's the truth. Last night I realized that I gotta do it. I gotta keep my word to Riggs. I gotta do some good and make up for my bad. I gotta go and keep my word to Riggs and find that broad to deliver this old letter. Thanks, my good friend. You're the best. I'm heading for the bus station downtown and going to Chicago. You are about to express your Texan self, aren't you? Well, I saw the names of my guys over there on that wall, and the thousands of others that got zipped up in body bags who were sent home to be heaped on the pile of misery. And I just knew I needed one more patrol to help someone. I don't care how long it takes, Cooter. I will somehow accomplish this mission. I don't know what tomorrow holds. Don't know what I'll eat or where I'll sleep or who's going to jump out of the bushes. It's kind of like Nam. But I'm home and feel great again. The wall did me some good. I'm home. You're home. Always remember there's a body bag for each of us with our names on it. There's just a question of who's going to zip it up. Semper Fi, my friend. Moto, you were always crazy. Always crazy. But never before more right. You're a good man, Mike Mason. Semper Fi, my friend.
Oh Lord, won't you grant me those traveling mercies? My body is weak from the ride. I never did realize the trials would come and linger for days upon end. Those traveling mercies are what I need now to comfort and guide through these times. Forgive me for saying the things that I do and losing my way for a while.
Well, I'll be. That snake has been under that rock a long, long time. Bet you never thought you'd hear from me. Hope this finds you down there in cowboy land and doing great. Seems like a lifetime ago we were together at the wall in D.C. How long has it been? Around 10 years? I really miss you. Well, let's get to it. I've been trying to get my act together since I last saw you. Can you believe it? Me, Motto? Trying to be better and do something good? No, not really. When I left you, buddy, I took that bus to Chicago and been here ever since. I still struggle, but things are okay, I guess. I'm learning. Can you believe it? Me learning? Your Texas wisdom is finally sinking in this crazy brain of mine. I've been here in Chicago doing all kinds of things. Worked for Pepsi and Coke, Wrigley's, you know, those gum people. I did okay for a while, but never found the broad of Riggs to give this letter to. But Cooter, I still got it after all these years. I got an idea, buddy. More on that later. I don't really have a home address. I just move around. It's a tough city, but Contien got me ready for it. Living here in the city, I'm outside, but it ain't bad, at least in the summer. Winters are tough, though. A little colder than Nam. About 3 months back, I got these pains in my left arm. Man, did it hurt. This guy, a guard at the Trib, said, "Get to the hospital." Don't have any money, but guess it doesn't matter no more because they took me in. Heart attack. Bad habits. Nothing big, though. They fixed me up. Anyway, I wanted to get in touch and bring you up to speed on your old buddy. With winter coming, don't know how I'll fare this time around. So I wanted to thank you for changing my life. Sound funny coming from me? Bet it does. The guy from Renovo, that poor mountain town family, getting smart. I'm hardly smart. I mean, truth is, if I had a trailer, you could call me trailer trash. But I don't. Maybe I'm bridge trash. I live under a bridge in downtown Chicago, not far from the big newspaper building. Everyone stays away but this one woman. Nice-looking lady, maybe mid-40s, business suit type. Works at that newspaper. I was out there one day when I was really down and out. She asked me if I was a vet and gave me $20. See her now and then. She always gives me something. This is getting way too long for me and for you. I got this book from the library called The Choice by Og Mandino. Anyway, it made me think. The lady that has been nice to me writes articles for the Tribune about Nam. Her name is Midge Madigan. Well, I am making the good choice of getting the letter to her by giving it to the security guard. I will just personally be the postman. I'm finally going to do good. I want you to know that you're the man, Cooter. Mission accomplished soon. I do love you. Riggsy, too. That's the truth. Semper Fi. Your bud, Moto.
Oh, can't you feel it? Let your fears all go. Oh, can't you feel it? Let your anger go. Oh, can't you feel it? Let your sadness go. Oh, can't you feel it? Let your hatred go. Let yourself find peace within.
Hey, I told you before, get away from here. There's no reason for you to be at the Tribune.
I know, just hear me out.
Buddy, I'm calling the police if you don't get off the steps now.
Look, man, I don't know why I'm coming to you, but something tells me that you can help. You gotta help me, and then I will go, and I'll never come back.
Help with what?
That woman that writes about the veterans in Vietnam, Midge Madigan, you ever see her?
Listen, I don't talk about the people that work here.
Come on, man. This is a mission I've worked seemingly a lifetime to complete. 25 years to be exact, with 10 here in Chicago. You gotta help me. I gotta get this letter to her.
What's this mission stuff?
I served in Nam with this guy. Before he went out on a mission, he reached this letter out to me and asked me if I would deliver it in case he didn't return. Man, all I'm asking is that you give this to that woman that writes that stuff about Nam. Maybe she can do something with it.
Why her?
Look, man, just take it and go. I'm trying to keep my word. Now do your part. Just take this letter, this weight from me, and give it to that Madigan woman. That's all I'm asking you.
You know, I served in World War II. My kid was a Marine in Nam, and it messed him up bad. Unlike me, he never got any respect when he went, the whole time he was there, or when he came back home. And he never got over somebody from his own country actually spitting on him.
You know about pain and commitment. I made a commitment. Semper Fidelis, always faithful. Don't ask another question. Just deliver it for me. Let me have peace. It's almost Christmas. Please, take it.
Maggie O'Reilly, 419 7th Street, number 7. What kind of an address is that? Is this some kind of a joke? Well, what harm could it do? Madigan writes about this stuff all the time. I'll tell you what, I'll give it to her tomorrow.
Thank you. I never got your name.
My name's Pat. What's yours?
Moto. I did it. See, I can see Reese's face. You didn't deserve to die. Whatever, man. Reese, you were good. It was so good. I just wanted to poke fun at you. I feel like I'm drifting down that little tunnel. Dad, you were wrong. You're wrong. Marines were right. I'm now okay. I've done good. I've made good. Good. It only took me 10 years after our conversation at the wall, but I finally did it. I didn't cop out. Grace, you somehow knew I would deliver the letter, didn't you? Get my word. Zip it up.
God bless and Semper Fi, my friend.
Could it be there a fallen angel trying to find her way home? Please take care of this fallen angel. Please protect them when they fall. From afar I see a star who whispers to me, I forgave them, I let them in, they feel no pain. I hold them tight every night and sing to them a lullaby. So when you hear the wind blow or see a star shine from afar, know that they walk in sunshine, God's fallen angels from afar.
Well, Miss Madigan, one of those homeless fellows was here last night, and he wanted me to give you this letter. I told him I'd make sure that you got it. I hope you don't mind. He said it was a mission that he just had to finish. Ma'am, he really insisted I deliver this to you, and I feel obligated to tell you.
Okay, all right, Pat, I'll take it. Thank you.
Ma'am, are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine, Pat. Thank you so much.
Hello, Beverly speaking.
Beverly, you have always been there for me, and I know I'm going to need you as I read a letter from Clayton.
What?
I'll tell you the details later, just let me read.
I'm listening. You have my full attention.
Christmas Eve, December 24th, 1967. My dear Maggie, my bestest friend, I received your 12 letters, your clever and special gift to me for Christmas, and I have read one each day as you asked. With one left to read, I am prompted, maybe by that still small voice you always talked about, to make sure I write you before heading out to the bush. I wanted to wait until I'd read all of your letters to respond, but I know I need to do this now. Each letter has been so perfect. They've been like a salve to caress my wounds each time when returning from the fighting. It's hard to put into words how they make me feel. I've never felt this way before, but I sure need to feel this way now.
Oh, Maggie, I can only imagine what you're feeling at this very moment. I'm here for you.
Beverly, I just realized Clayton never read my last letter. He didn't know how I really felt about him. My God, is this really happening? After 2 decades, the sands of time are talking to me like it was yesterday.
Oh, Maggie, I suspect he knew. Go on.
Maggie, I find myself at a difficult time, ready to go to war, but wanting to write of peace, living in a place of hatred, and wanting to write of love, smothered by lies and deceit, and wanting to write about truth, living in the here and now, but wanting to write about forever, and you. In a few minutes, we're leaving for the hellish jungle, but all I can think of is that precious moment at the well house at IU when we first met. Me, Clayton Wesley Riggs, Hope pig farmer extraordinaire, and you, the beautiful, sophisticated girl from the big city of Chicago. I always wondered why someone like you, who had everything and probably anyone, found me.
Mom and Dad certainly questioned your interest, too.
You chose to sketch me, and I have been with you ever since. After all, I was just sitting there on a bench looking like any freshman. Now I sit here in a monsoon. It's been raining since I got here. But right now I remember the autumn leaves, radiant and dripping with color in the October sun. Your first words captivated me, but I couldn't say it, not me, the unsure kid from the little town of Hope. I'd really never even had a girlfriend to talk with, and yet from that very first moment, we never stopped talking, did we? You, Maggie O'Reilly, with the strawberry blonde hair, magnetic smile, the eyes that glistened with a zest for life, and you wanted to be friends with me? It shouldn't have happened, but it did, and I'm so glad. Maggie, I feel as though we've lived a whole lifetime in just a few short months. We talked and experienced so much in such a short period. We were so very different. Our families were different. Our expectations of life were different, but we're so much the same, and that's what makes us strong. If you ever reflect and want to know what your Clay is thinking, I want to make it clear right now. Something is telling me to let you know how I truly feel about you. I guess being a Marine and being in these life and death situations every day has made me have a sense of urgency about my reality. I don't know what the truth will be, Maggie, but I want you to know my truth. We soon go to the bush, the jungle. It's musty smelling like old sweaty socks. It's dark, really black dark. It's a monsoon. The only time I feel good is the rare times when the moon comes out at night. When it comes out, it's so bright. One night there was a full moon and everything was shiny, like one of those nights we were together at the well house. I think about our friendship. What is friendship, Maggie? True friendship is a pearl of great price, a gem of eternal value. Once you possess it, you must treat it with great reverence. Friendship isn't confined by time. It doesn't lend itself to foolish definitions. It's a life force that bonds two spirits, heart to heart.
With words like that, I can certainly see why he made his way into your heart.
As I write, I'm thinking of how my compositions were at Hauser, even at IU, nothing like this. You made me a better writer, as have all of my experiences, with most here being downright horrific. We're true friends, Maggie O'Reilly. I want you to know that no matter what happens over here, we really are true friends. We're friends who met at 11 one night at the pizzeria on Kirkwood for a short chat that lasted for 3 hours. Maggie, I'm afraid of dying. And I'm afraid of losing you. You're my safe harbor in the storms of life. And I have a big storm on the horizon. I'm worried, Maggie, really worried. When I see my buddies, some of whom I've been with for just a little over 24 hours, being carried away in body bags, I retreat to the only safe place that I know, the harbor of your arms and your sweet smile. You're here listening and comforting me whether you know it or not. Maggie, you are, as you said many times, my very bestest friend.
Oh, Maggie, how fortunate and unfortunate. Go on, my dear sister.
Maggie, it's time to share my innermost feelings with you. I don't do this well, but I feel I must. We'll be saddling up in a few minutes, heading out deep into what they call the DMZ. I just have a feeling like you used to tell me about. I have a feeling and I want you to get this letter. So I'm asking this guy, Moto, to mail this letter. He is someone you would hate, Maggie. Why would you hate him? He is everything you stand against. He loves this war. I don't even know his real name. They just call him Moto. Everyone goes by nicknames in the military. Mine is Riggsy, but Maggie, he is something else. He's a fireplug of a guy, tall, built like a wrestler, and meaner than a snake. All he'd have to do is shave his head and he would be right out of a horror movie. Why have him mail it? Because he is so mean, he won't die out here. He'll get back. I don't know why, Maggie, and I don't want to worry you, but something is telling me to give it to him. So I am. You know what's funny? He doesn't even like me. He's a miserable guy with a gravel voice and steely eyes. Beverly, it was Moto who delivered the letter. He may not have liked Clayton, but he was faithful to Clay to the end.
Oh, I think deep down Moto liked Clayton. Read on.
Anyway, Maggie, that's what's happening here. I would give anything right now to hear your sweet voice, smell your radiant perfume, and have you welcome me home. I have such a need to protect you and keep you safe. I have to be honest. I want us to grow old together. Beverly, he really did love me. We really were meant to be. After all these years, I knew I was right. I knew he loved me.
Maggie, of course you were right about his love.
Yes, Maggie.
Molly, I need for you to make flight reservations to Indianapolis, Indiana for Christmas Eve, please.
Is everything all right?
Oh, Molly, I'm better than I've been in 25 years. I'll explain everything later, please.
Will do.
Thank you so much. I became a better man because of you. I found myself in you, Maggie. There were stirrings within me that I'd never felt before. You're my princess, my Cinderella, my everything. I wanted so much to hold you and kiss you for the first time at the well house, but I was afraid that if I did, the magic of our friendship might disappear. Reading each of your letters gave me the why to endure any how that life brings. Maggie, what I'm trying to say is that I want to be with you forever. I love you, Maggie O'Reilly. I love you for everything that makes you, you. My love is unconditional. There are no strings attached. I long so much for that embrace and that first kiss.
Oh, Maggie, you should cry. I should cry. But there's more, isn't there?
Now who has that special grandma thing? I know no matter what happens, we've experienced what few people ever will in this life. I know that friendship is love, and I know that love must be the elusive truth we so talked about finding. And now I will read your last letter, Maggie.
Before closing, though, let me end with the truth. Are the Riggses right with our heritage of Marines, warriors fighting with guns and knives for truth and right in America? Or are the O'Reillys right in their heritage of fighting for truth and right in America by marching in the streets and doing no harm to anyone more than making them mad? And what about this war? Who's right? Who's wrong? So many questions, so many thoughts. Are the NBA right for wanting to kill us for being in their country, or are we right for killing them for exploiting human rights and believing in communism while we are sure freedom and liberty are right? In the midst of the carnage we know as daily life in a combat zone, I have learned what truth is, Maggie. The truth is that none of this matters. All the differences we have as human beings are what make life valuable. Maggie O'Reilly, I know the truth is that we can never, never let our differences get in the way of the fact that we love each other. I love you, Maggie. I love you forever, my bestest friend.
Maggie, you have got to start that book.
Friendship lifts me up whenever I'm down and can't seem to smile. The world spins around me like a carousel. I'm dragging my feet, my mind feels cold. Your friendship lifts me up. As each day goes by, I feel you near. As the winds whirl me around, you're always there whenever I need. Your friendship lifts me up. I know that no one could ever conceive a friendship as strong as ours. But I thank God for the blessings He brings, and how your friendship lifts me up.
God, you know I'm not very good about talking without writing my thoughts in my prayer journal first. After reading Clayton's letter, I just felt a great sense to come here to the well house where we first met and spent so much time. I suppose you already know that with grandmother by your side now. We always called it the second sight. I came here for the closure that Beverly and I have been talking about, and to say thank you for letting me know that Clay is okay. It was here that Clay first won my heart. He told me about his love for animals and nature and his country, and I told him about my love of books and poetry and my need to question war. We came from such different backgrounds, but somehow we grew so close. I know you sent that man, his friend, with the letter. I know you sent Moto to me after all these years of wondering. I don't know where Clay is, but I know you do, and that's your mystery, not mine. I just want you to know that I know you're here with me. In my heart, I know you have been with me and Clay through all these years. I know it's ours to have faith and to not question, and I know I'm not as good a person as I could be or I should be. And I don't deserve anything that you have given me. I just want you to know I love you and thank you for being there for me, for us. I know all of these things have happened for a reason, and it will be revealed to us at the right time. I just want to ask for your help in getting one final message to Clay. Could you please let my bestest friend know how much I love him? His love has been with me through all these years, a love you can understand. He gave me the best life a woman can have just by being the man that he was. I don't know how and I don't know where, but I do know that one day, God, you will make all of this better. I know that all is well as long as we trust in you, and God, I just need to thank you.
When I hear you say, I will love you through another day, just take my hand and follow each day. Lord, you will help me through. Lord, you will help me through.
God, what is it? What's that sound? Someone's walking toward me, more than one. God, what do I do? What are they doing here? Should I get up? Should I run to my car? The ice, I can't run. Are they wearing uniforms? Are they yes, maybe they're police. God, why do I feel like this? Why am I calm? Why am I not scared? Is this a dream? Am I in a fairy tale? Am I imagining all of this? Why do I feel so at peace?
Clay? Clayton? Is it you? Is it you? Oh my God! Are you all right?
Who else can remember the ending of your 12th letter? 12 drummers drumming on the last day of Christmas. My true love gave to me everything. Always and forever, forever and always. Maggie, I thought about that kiss on the cheek you gave me at the airport on the way to Nam, and how I should have given you one too. And would you mind?
I've been waiting for 25 years.
Merry Christmas, Maggie O'Reilly. It's a truth I've held on to for all these years. You're my bestest friend.
You're the one and only. How can I tell you just how much I need you? Yeah, you're the one and only. How can I show you just how much I love you? You're the one and only, and always will be to me. You're the one and only. Yes, you're the one and only.
Good morning. You're with Dan
And Rebecca.
on QMix 107.3, wishing you a merry 1992 Christmas, and a Merry Christmas it is, at least for one former Marine. You're going to want to hear this special report, in particular, our listeners in Hope.
That's right, Dan. We have quite the story this Christmas Day. It's guaranteed to crack the hearts of even the most hardened bah humbug types.
Rebecca is referring to the biggest news story of the year. We don't have many details, but here's what we do know. The White House announced in a press conference just this morning that a POW has been recovered and returned from the Vietnam War. A prisoner of war has been returned.
The man recovered is identified as Clayton Riggs, a Marine from Hope who was reportedly killed in a battle at Con Thien, the front, 25 years ago today. Wow, look at that. The phones are lighting up. We'll take some calls later on after we share some more details.
Gotcha. What we do know at this point is that he was discovered in a small remote village in Laos by a U.S. MIA POW search team. People who didn't know the war was over were apparently holding Riggs as a prisoner. One report we have is saying that he was noticed by a member of the U.S. search team who himself was a former Marine and Vietnam veteran, Carlos Vance. Apparently, they recognized one another.
And before you say, hey, Dan, that can't be true, don't forget about the Japanese soldier who came out of the jungle 40 years after World War II was over. Riggs was just there for 25 years. Welcome home, Clayton. And I'm predicting Clayton will not be the last MIA POW to be found in a remote village.
Well, hopefully so. They're reporting that he's been in U.S. hands, presumably undergoing debriefing and the expected physical test after 2.5 decades in the jungle. He's in remarkable condition considering all he's been through, other than walking with a slight limp. But get this, Clayton's first request last night on his freedom journey home was to stop by IU, his alma mater. It is reported that Clayton requested Hope American Legion escorts, as well as a fellow Marine he served with in 1967 known as Kugler. They quietly took him to the Bloomington around midnight to let him spend time at the well house. Now, believe it or not, the girl of his dreams years ago also had decided to visit the same day at the same time. Maggie O'Reilly, a well-known Chicago Tribune writer under the pen name Midge Madigan.
Huh, well, maybe she can write that story.
I think so.
Well, for QMix 107.3, this is Rebecca.
And Dan.
And we're ending this special broadcast. Now, I have to say that if you don't believe in Santa Claus after hearing this story, there is no hope. But let me assure you that all in Hope, Indiana believe in hope like never before. Merry Christmas, Clayton Riggs and Maggie O'Reilly. We know that when Clayton returns from Washington, he will receive a deserved hero's welcome in the Hope Town Square. It will be quite the celebration. And what a day here, one we will never forget. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Let a little hope shine through the darkness. Reach out and grab a hold. Let a little hope shine through the darkness. Reach out and let it grow. Let a little hope shine through the darkness. Let it fill that empty hole. Let a little hope shine through the darkness of your soul. When you're down and only frown, and you can't seem to find your way around. When you're down on the ground, turn your face towards the sky and let it shine.